I'd like to call this special meeting of the Municipal Council to order at 6 o'clock. Please join me for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Assistant Madam Clerk, would you please read the special notice?
Sure. Dated November 21st, 2023, to the members of the Municipal Council, from James Delisio, Council President. Councilors, by authority of Article 2, Section 2-7C of the Attleboro Home Rule Charter, I hereby call a special meeting of the Municipal Council as follows. Tuesday, November 28th, 2023, at 6 p.m., 77 Park Street, Council Chambers, to discuss any legal matters before the Council specifically, and for an executive session with the City Solicitor to advise the Council regarding pending litigation. Sincerely, James Delisio, President.
Great, thank you very much. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. We'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Vice President Kobus.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Mr. Angelo.
Yes.
Mr. Tavares.
Yes.
And Mr. Blaze.
Yes.
President Delisio.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are now going to arise into executive session. So I would like to invite Mayor DeSimone, City Solicitor Mello, and Auditor Deb Gould to join us in the annex room. Call the special meeting of the municipal council back to order at 6:36. There is no old business, there's no new business, we will not be doing committee of the whole, there's no mayor's communication, therefore I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries, and we are now going into committee reports, beginning with Councilor Water.
One question, President Policio.
Yes, sir.
I have somebody coming that I thought was going to be at 7 o'clock. Could I hold off on my
Yep,
committee?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So,
Do we need to wait until 7?
no, because
No.
the way the special
Okay.
meeting, the notice was worded is that committees will start immediately following the special meeting. So, we can now go right into finance. Before we do that, Public Works will be canceled this evening, and Council Dolan has called for a special committee meeting next week at 6:30. Council Conti, floor is yours.
So I'd like to call the Finance Committee to order at 6:37. Sitting on this committee are Councilors Kovas and Councilor Reynolds. And I have several matters to bring before you this evening, as well as some discussions that I would like to entertain. Beginning with, from the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $376,914.29 from account 1-000-359-000, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to account 1-300-1000-551-011, school appropriation Medicaid, to fund the municipal revenue sharing agreement.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Kovas. This is routinely annually done. It follows a long-standing agreement between the city side of the budget and the school budget to help them with an imbalance that they have in their budget over the Medicaid. And I would recommend its passage as we have done every year since I've been on the council. Are there any other discussion? Hearing none. Motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to authorize the school department to pay following previous school year bills totaling $759.74 that were not received in time to be processed in fiscal year '23. And these are from vendor Emmanuel Dejou in the amount of $378.07, and a second invoice from the same party of $203.57, from WB Mason, $49.73, from O'Reilly, $80.67, and from JW Pepper, $47.70.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Kovas. What I can tell you is that even though this is December, and we're 6 months into the fiscal year, the school department finance procedures are very complex, and particularly in the light of people who do not process paperwork properly. And if you think about the 1,200 employees in the school system, I don't know if it's that high, it might be 520, that's the number that I remember. There's a lot of opportunity for error in processing the proper paperwork. So auditors get very particular about having the proper things in order, and oftentimes the people who are responding to the auditor are slow to respond, and that's how these things stretch out 6 months long. I have a lot of compassion for Mr. Furtado and what he's trying to manage over there, and I would recommend the passage of this measure. That concludes my comments. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of February 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to authorize the school department to pay the following previous year's school bill totaling $417.44, which was not received in time for fiscal year '23 business cycle.
Second.
Thank you.
Did you want to read the,
The invoices from Verizon, it's obviously either telephone or internet service bill. Same explanation as before. Any discussion? Hearing none, motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to designate the mayor and the Board of Assessors collectively as the authorized officers vested with the authority to negotiate payment in lieu of taxes pilot agreements, and after municipal council approval of any respective pilot agreement that has been so negotiated, to execute said pilot agreement on behalf of the city of Attleboro.
second?
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. The Board of Assessors is more qualified and likely to become more qualified in determining payment in lieu of tax agreements than the city councilors. Number one, we are full-time, most of us work full-time, and then on top of that have a city council job. And we do not have, universally on the council, do not have a financial background. Whereas the Board of Assessors should be, if they're properly chosen, people who are experienced in financial approaches to value, both income, cost, and market, and have the opportunity to take classes in those to help them in their position throughout the year on the zone, on the assessor, Board of Assessors monthly responsibilities. It's my opinion, and the opinion of the Economic Development Incentive Board, that this is a more intelligent manner of developing pilot agreements, which I've never been in favor of, and I don't like, and have spoken out against them many, many, many times. The same with tax incentive financing or TIF agreements. I don't like them. They're an erosion of the tax code. As a result of that, I plan on contacting the Board of Assessors and the assessor to attend a Board of Assessors meeting after I am no longer a counselor, which is the next calendar year, to demonstrate to them creative and unique ways to craft pilot agreements that would benefit the city. And this is in line with what you heard me say when we were debating and arguing over $1.5 million gift to developer building a building downtown Attleboro. There is, in every case, a recapture at the end of the ownership of that particular party in which a great sum of money changes hands. And it's at that time that the city should be compensated for its return of investment. So that while I support and I encourage the Board of Assessors to encourage development by allowing pilot agreements, I want to see the city get a return of and a return on the investment in capital being tax deferred payments to the city, so that our sons and daughters sitting here can reap the benefit of that many years in the future when the ownership transfers. And in spite of that party standing there, the three of them, about this particular project that we talked about last year, who said that they were never going to sell, they will sell. It's inevitable. So I plan on, and I'm telling you all this because I'm trying to obtain your support for this measure, to allow the Board of Assessors to be the architects of pilots and TIFs. Although TIFs are not in the motion, it's all subject to council final approval. So even if the Board of Assessors crafts a pilot agreement, the council will always have an opportunity to amend or make a recommendation to amend and send the pilot agreement back to the Board of Assessors for revision. With that, is there any further discussion? Yes.
Well, I have one, can we amend it to add the TIFs, this
Yes.
here? And two, I'm right on board. I voted against all those same things that you did. I dislike pilot agreements, I dislike TIFs. I've never voted for them. I just do not like how they get negotiated. So why then are we taking this out now?
That's a good question, and I have an answer. The owner of the landfill owes the city a lot of money in back taxes. And the city doesn't want to really take over ownership of the dump by doing a foreclosure and tax taking. The owner of the dump has come up with a plan to encourage a solar field to be constructed on top of the dump to generate an income to be able to pay the taxes that are owed to the city. The solar company, as all solar companies, is looking for a tax break to construct the solar field because the cost of investment upfront in the beginning causes a great delay before they get the return of their investment. So the Economic Development Incentive Board is expecting a solar company to ask for a pilot when the owner of the landfill comes up with a vendor to build and so we're working in advance before it actually happens.
So this is exactly why you want to let the assessor.
That's exactly why it's in front of us now, so that we can get this done and they can start working on the pilot
Something
agreements. Yes,
happens
sir.
there. Okay.
You all set? Yep. Council Cobus.
Can you help me out and explain what is changing here? Because my understanding is the mayor previously was able to negotiate pilots, and then the council would approve it and then could execute it. So this is just adding the Board of Assessors to the authorized officer.
My recall is that the mayor has the responsibility for signing the pilot agreement, because only the mayor can sign a contract for the city. So the mayor would sign the contract on the recommendation of the council. In terms of the actual pilot agreements, they were previously developed by the planning department.
Okay. But still the administration, essentially.
Yes,
So-
correct, the administration. So it's shifting from the planning department over to the Board of Assessors, and of course, the planning department's gonna continue to play a role, and has, as a member of the Economic Development Incentive Board. You have any further thoughts along that line? You okay?
Yes.
Councilor Runs?
I just think that this is a wise idea to have the assessors on board because they have a better picture financially of what is going on in the city.
Well, I'll say that Board of Assessors come and go, but the assessor stays. And that's where the gold is. The gold is Julie Hobson.
Yes.
The city assessor, who has a full-time responsibility of watching things such as pilot, and has the opportunity to interconnect with other assessors throughout Bristol County and elsewhere who have executed pilot agreements. It's a very strong network. So the assessor is in a position to educate the Board of Assessors. If the Board of Assessors are not motivated to so educate themselves, I'm going to stick my nose into it, and I think it's a smart plan.
Agreed. Thank you.
Any other questions about the measure? Hearing none, the motion's in order. I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Do we need to
Say
put
aye.
the amendment, excuse me, do we
Yep.
need to add the amendment now or after?
What amendment
To
did
add the
you?
TIFs.
No, I don't want to add the
You don't
TIFs.
want to add the TIFs.
I want them to come back. I want to see how this plays with the pilot first.
Okay, understood.
And I also don't want to see any TIFs.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm with you there. Okay, thank you.
So on the current motion, it's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $2 million from account 1-000-359000, general fund, fund balance undesignated, to account 11241-000-59600, citywide contribution to stabilization fund to bolster the stabilization fund.
Second.
To Councilor Cobus. When I first read this, I said, yippee. I I have been, and we have been, including the mayor when she was a councilor, have been pushing for a bump in the stabilization account to try to get it to be 7% of the budget. It's not going to be 7% of the budget even after this $2 million is put in there. For the members that, who are watching at home, a stabilization fund is a fund that gathers no interest, sitting in the city coffers to take care of emergencies or rainy day events. And the reason why it's not invested is because, like all emergencies, you don't know when they're going to have to happen, and the money has to be liquid. It can't be tied up. So therefore, it's not invested, it just sits there. To have $7 million sitting in the budget, just sitting there not getting any interest sounds like it's a bad idea, but it's really a very smart idea. The bonding for the city through the bonding agencies look at the amount of money that's in the stabilization account, and they, in addition to a lot of other things. And I am thrilled that we're putting $2 million of our free cash, which is not free cash, but it's called free cash, into the stabilization fund, because I really think that's where it belongs. And that concludes my comments. Do you have any comments? Amazing. Hearing none. Motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $261,000 from account 1-000-359-000, general fund balance undesignated, to account 11241-000-596300, citywide contribution to spread SPED stabilization fund.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. Some of you were not here when the infinite wisdom of the Massachusetts legislature passed a McKinney-Vento bill. The McKinney-Vento bill mandated that cities and towns transport students of families who opted to have a school of choice. As a result, people moved from the city of Boston to the city of Attleboro and insisted that their children go back to school every day in Boston, and we were responsible for transporting them. And that wasn't one or two students, it was a bunch of students. And I remember the first year it happened, President Cook was sitting at the dais, and Councilor Kirby was the budget chairman, and the sudden bill was $140,000. That figure has doubled over the years, and without an SPED stabilization fund, we are subject to big surprises. So what this does, it transfers $261,000 into the fund, which may or may not all be used, and if it doesn't get used, it stays there for next year, because next year we're going to have the same problem. And that concludes my comments. Yes, Councilor Delicio.
McKinney-Vento, just as a point of order, is for homeless families.
Oh, sorry.
No, but it's just shows how cumbersome and complex this budget is,
Yes.
especially the school budget. But special ed stabilization fund is there to help with some of those transportation costs as well. But McKinney-Vento is part of, I believe, non-net school spending, which is part of the transportation for families, homeless families who, as you said, have that school choice. And, you know, I think Council Blair, Council Reynolds, and I were on that council when we got that. And that's when Ms. Furtado came down and kind of explained what the difference is. So just wanted to have that.
Thank you
point
for
of
the clarification. Thank you.
Quite
Thank you. It all starts to muddle together.
It is connected quite in some way.
So are there any other comments, questions? Motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $388,609.27 of fiscal 2023 net school spending surplus as follows. $194,304.64 from account 1-000-359-000, general fund balance undesignated, to account L413070-521020 AHS Utility Services Light and Power, and $194,304.63 from account 100-359000 General Fund, Fund Balance Undesignated, to account A 422070-551070 School Maintenance of Buildings, Non-Educational Supplies.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. Well, to no one's surprise, the 420,000 square foot new high school uses more electricity than the old high school. More computers, more electronics, more lights, more elevators, more juice, to the tune of a big number. So, can't shut everything off.
And here we are.
Any other comments? Hearing none. Motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion that in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5B, the city establish a fund 8509, Special Purpose Capital Stabilization Fund. The fund shall be expended for non-enterprise projects identified in the city's capital improvement plan, or non-enterprise projects that meet the definition of a capital project requiring an appropriation of no less than $50,000 with a life expectancy of at least 3 years.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Cobus. I have been begging for this for 7 years. 7 years.
True that. And here it is.
Can't believe it's here. I'll tell you, it's a testament to the new mayor, who I had a long conversation with Deb Gould about this, because I wanted to know how it happened. I've been meeting with the mayor of the city of Attleboro every month, the second Friday, for 1 hour between 2 and 3 o'clock for the last 7 years. And I discontinued those meetings last month with the current mayor because my term is ending. In every meeting, I showed up with this valise, with an agenda, and kept the mayor on target because I only had 1 hour to get through all the things that were on my agenda. And this was on my agenda for 7 years. I got a lot of lip service, which I think you can relate to, Councilor Blair. But this mayor has a repeated action of establishing reserves and partial hits to the budget in a very controlled manner. I'm very impressed with how the mayor's handling the budget, and I'm very impressed with the budget. So it's a double bang here, because if I was mayor, I would have done exactly what she did in that budget, and I said that during budget season, and I would have exactly done this, because this is really very much needed. But I'm not mayor, she is, and I'm very grateful that she did this. And I thank both Deb Gould and our new Chief Financial Officer, Mason Lord, and the mayor for putting this through. It means a lot to me. I'm really happy. That concludes my comments. Anyone else got something to say? Given that, the motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That concludes the business that the Finance Committee has to bring before the council this evening. We look forward to a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Council, you need to adjourn for a,
Meeting is adjourned. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I declare the Finance Committee adjourned at,
7:01.
what time is it?
7:01.
7:01. Thank you.
My guest has now arrived, so I would like to call the License Committee to order at 7:01. Onassis, would you like to come forward to the podium?
Is it possible to give 5 more minutes for my son to get here? Is that possible?
We will wait. I'll do the other business.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, moving right along. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, and we have just Councilor Taveras and myself. I would entertain a motion to approve the following 5 Class 2 license renewal applications. We have Classic Auto Sales of 1100 Oak Hill Avenue with 5 customer spaces and 23 display. M&J Auto Sales at 650 Washington Street with 10 customer spaces and 39 display. New England Tire, 44 North Main Street with 17 customer and 1 display. Trusted Auto, 64 Pleasant Street with 5 customer and 18 display. East Coast Auto Sales, 24 Rice Street with 14 customer spaces and 40 display.
Second.
Thank you. I have visited all of these places in the past week. They're all in compliance. Really no concerns on any of these 5 companies. Any questions? And I would like to call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And so we pass 3-0. I am not going to bring out the motion to approve the Class 2 license renewal for State Line Auto Brokers at this time, but I want to explain something. If we have one more committee meeting before we are finished in December, and I will bring it out at that time. There have been some concerns expressed to me by people who live in that general area, who have seen cars that belong to this company parked on two separate streets. One street, which is, the street's name is not coming to my mind, where there is a no parking sign.
Westminster.
Thank you. It is Westminster. And where 4 cars were parked there that were their cars, right in front of a no parking sign. We also saw at that visit 2 cars parked on that little side street, which I don't know the name of that little side street that runs right in front of their business. Does anybody know the name of that little tiny side street?
Can't think of it off the top of my
Okay,
head.
I was hoping you might.
Yeah, I can't think of it. You,
And they weren't parked just on the street, they were parked on the sidewalks, which I had explicitly asked them several weeks ago not to do. And they were there. And so since then, I have done one other surprise visit this weekend, and the same thing was occurring. And when they saw my car drive up, there was a honk from another car, and immediately one of the staff people came out and removed one of the cars off the sidewalk. The other one was left there. And there were also 4 vehicles on Westminster, of which 2 at least I could identify as belonging to this company. I have talked to our city inspector, and he has offered to me to go down with me and have a conversation with the ownership. And that is what I'm waiting for. Yes, please.
So, this is not a new problem. Back when Ms. Perica was a city councilor, there was a big issue with this particular licensee. And it involved the entire committee to go visit and see what was going on. And the pattern of behavior has not changed. And I won't be here for your vote, because I won't be here December 20th. But if I were here, I would recommend that the License Committee take some serious consideration on this license, and because I don't think the behavior is ever going to change. And this whack-a-mole of moving cars around just because you're there is just ridiculous. I understand the seriousness of not renewing someone's license.
Yes.
However, I find anything that we've done in the past failed to change their behavior. And that concludes my comments, and thank you for the floor.
Councilor Taveras, and thank you.
And if I could add to that, obviously I was not here, Councilor Conti, but I'm aware of that ongoing situation. And unfortunately, if there's a pattern of that sort of behavior in the past, it doesn't seem that might improve. As I've been made aware that a lot that they previously were leasing, the lease has expired on that property. So now they're left with less space, presumably the same number of cars that they operate with, and nowhere to put them. So that might be an issue to try to address, and now would be the time to do it, it seems. I agree, before renewing this license, if there's anything that can be done that they're willing to change behavior on, or improve their compliance with parking and the scope of their license.
Now, we did, one second, Councilor Holmes. Councilor Taveras, I did make a previous visit, and brought this out of our committee. In my previous visit to the ones I've mentioned, all their cars were in those congested spaces, and they weren't on the streets. So I've made 3 visits down there in recent weeks, but that didn't hold. Maybe they knew I was coming. Councilor Holmes.
I was just going to say procedurally, thank you for recognizing me, that maybe have the motion, and then, because people are talking, it's not just you giving information, because it seems like there's others talking right now. So having a second and then withdrawing it, if you're going to continue to talk about that motion.
Does anybody else have anything to say before? Okay.
I would concur with Councilor Holmes. I think where it was already voted out of committee and it's still, we probably shouldn't be going overly in-depth right now. I think what we should do is remove the second right now. Next Tuesday, you should move to send it back to committee, so then we can have that conversation. But we can talk about that offline.
Thank you very much. So, would you so move to delete your second?
I move to do that.
Okay. Moving along. Thank you. From the docket of November 21st, 2023, I would entertain a motion to approve the following 2 Class 2 license renewals. Automazed Inc. of 826 Washington Street with 13 customer and 80 display spaces. And Blasius Auto Group, DBA Blasius of Attleboro, 800 Washington Street with 6 customer and 124 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. I have visited both these companies and talked to both owners in last few weeks. The situation is where Automaze is no longer selling cars on their lot. They have 2 vehicles on their lot that belong to them, but I was told they're not selling them at this time. The rest of their lot is being leased to Blasius, who has the remainder of, and their lot is pretty filled on Blasius' lot. And now they have stored cars there on Automaze within the limits of the 80 display spaces. After speaking with our city solicitor, and with our city clerk. Our solicitor determined that MGL law permits this. And that is why I'm bringing it out tonight for a discussion. Are there any questions? Okay, I would call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Vote passes. We have a guest tonight. If you would come to the podium. Though some of us might know you, please share your name, your personal address, your business address.
Thank you. Today, my name is Onassis Martinez, 93 Riverside Avenue in Warwick, Rhode Island. I am the owner, president of 100% Auto Wholesale, and my son, he's the vice president.
And your son's name?
My name is Onassis Martinez Jr.
Yeah.
I'm the vice president of 100%, and it's a pleasure to meet you guys.
So Onassis Senior, you have asked me several weeks ago if you could come forward and share your feelings, your thoughts,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and I would welcome that.
Thank you. For one, thank you for the whole council for this today, give me time to speak. I know last year it was a crazy time for me personally, for the business. But today, I can't express enough what you guys did for me as an individual, as a business owner, and open up my eyes and making going forward how generous we did to all our customers. Our business grew, our customer base grew. We had 2 complaints
Yes.
for the whole entire year compared to last year and the years before. And everybody that walked to the door was handled like family. And I take that very strongly as a family business. Everybody in my establishment is basically his family. And everybody that said a yay or no, I still took it into consideration. And every single car, 590 plus vehicles this year, every car had a inspection. Everybody was happy. We even took some pictures on Facebook to make sure that maybe hopefully we connect with the community to make sure you guys see it. But the number one thing is, if it wasn't for slap on the wrist to open my eyes how I treat my new customers and my old customers, it was a weight off my shoulders. So again, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having us today. And you guys are more than welcome to walk into my lot anytime, surprise and not surprise, knock on my door. I would love to meet every single one of you in the future again. So, you know what you say?
I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to speak. I didn't speak last time we were all here. Now, from my perspective as just being a young coming potential business owner, it gives me an opportunity to kind of oversee all the mistakes that we made in the past, and not only correct those mistakes but also improve on them. You know, I work in his shadow, and I move through the business the same way he does. So it gave us an opportunity to not only grow closer as partners, but also strengthen the business to where it is today. So I just want to thank you guys for also giving us that opportunity. And I also wanted to mention that we would like to be a part of any way we can to be more involved with the community of Attleboro. It's something that I personally want to get more involved with. So I appreciate everything that was done here, and I thank all of you.
Is there, Councilor Reynolds?
I would just like to say thank you back to you, too, because you took, as you say, the slap on the wrist.
Absolutely.
You turned it around. You didn't take offense. You might have been hurt a little bit, but you didn't take total offense. And you made a big difference in the way that you do business.
Absolutely.
And so that shows by the amount of the very few complaints that you had, and I give you the kudos back as well for doing that.
Thank you.
Counselor?
I too want to thank you for coming. I happen to believe in second chances, and sometimes that doesn't go well.
Thank you, Richard.
But for you to come here tonight specifically to say what you said is very big, and I can't thank you enough for coming to us, because sometimes when we make the decisions, we think we're going to be kicking ourselves for making the wrong decisions. And that was a tough time It was a tough time for you, it was a tough time for us.
I totally
It's
understand.
so nice to hear that it worked out for the better.
Yes.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Councilor Delicio.
Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in. Definitely can't be an easy thing to come in, and as Councilor Reynolds said, you took what we asked you to do, you executed on it. Just a couple questions, if I may, Chair Waterman.
Please.
First, fill me with some confidence that these changes are going to be able to continue after tonight and as we go forward. And the second part to that is, what are some of the fundamental changes that you made?
Before we had one mechanic on duty, now we have 3. Now we have 2 vehicles that if somebody has an issue, loaner vehicles, that's fully insured by the dealership. So they don't have that issue of coming in, I need my car. We let them borrow the vehicle, it's free of charge. We have 3 tow trucks accessible for us at the same time, so it could be 24-hour service, quote unquote, if I don't pick up the phone nighttime, 12 o'clock in the morning, I'm sorry. But if I get the message, they'll be out there in the morning, they'll pick up the car, bring it down. At the same time, we bring the customer in too. So it's not like we pick up your car, what call is ready? No, we say, we pick up your car, please come in, let's sit down, do a game plan, A to B. We give them a work order, let them know what's going on, and then my son relates the message to him, gives on track. If we're late on parts, that's definitely a big thing. And the other thing, we have a cell phone that connects to the business line, but sometimes we had a landline and we didn't able to pick it up. Now the phone's basically on our necks 9 to 6, so we could pick up the call right away. So that was one of the bigger things too.
Yeah.
And everybody, and I mean everybody, gets a 3 months warranty, engine and transmission, and it goes up to like 3,700 miles. And even say if it's 3 months online, 3 months in a day, 3 months in 4 days, they still call, we still come in, we take care of it. We make sure they're happy. We make sure that, if we couldn't cover it, it's 6 months online, we still point them to the right direction. And now that I have my own facility, I cut them a super deal. So, listen, they charge you $2,000 this time, we'll do it for $1,000. Come in, use my car, one of my cars to move you around. So, and at the same time, one of my guys, if they can't come down, we go bring the car. So we're just making sure that our customer service overextends not only the buying part, but the servicing part and the communication part.
Kudos, nice work. Thank you for that clarification, because everything you talked about is essentially 90% of what we asked you to do.
Yes.
So thank you.
No, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, James.
Councilor Cobus.
Yes, I hear the words that you're saying, and you're telling us that everything's turned around. But then as soon as I bring up State Line Auto Brokers online and look at the Google reviews,
Yep.
over the last year, there's been 9 reviews, and half of them are 1-star reviews, and it's all the same stuff we've
They're
seen.
not state
This is
line.
100% auto.
Oh,
This is 100%.
Yes, different dealer.
sorry,
I got nervous there.
Yeah.
I forgot.
But, Todd, to go bring that up a little bit, we're at 3.9, and we fight hard to get it.
Sorry.
So you have to understand, sometimes out of 10 people, maybe 3 people give us a review, and we'll call back to say,
Yeah,
listen, we haven't got a review from you, please let us know what it is. And at the same time, we'll give them a gift card. Say, listen, if you could have a time to do it, bad or good, we still send them a gift card. So it doesn't really matter. So that's where we're at right now. Hopefully, next year, we're trying to go over the 4.
Got it. No,
No problem.
sorry about that.
No problem.
Kudos.
Yes, Councilor.
Thank you. I just want to say, thank you. I know you've heard that a few times tonight for coming down and giving us the feedback and giving us that sort of update on how your business is going and what you've changed. I just wanted to make a quick comment, if I could.
Sure.
That, I was here and I heard a lot of the issues, and this was my first time hearing something like this, and being fairly new to the council at the time. And I just want to say how nice it is to hear. First, I heard then what it is that you do for the community. Okay. And what I see today is that you match that in how you treat the customers.
Appreciate it.
And now those two things seem to align. So thank you for what you do for the community, for Attleboro, for the greater Attleboro area, for your customer base in particular, and for treating them with that same level of respect that you sort of position yourself to do. So you're doing a tremendous service, so thank you for that.
Council Bennett.
So, to conclude, I was very pleased with the two issues that we brought to you this year. You listened, you responded, and in one case, I think you maybe gave more than I expected.
Thank you, Ty.
And I think that you have learned how, this is a little, you have learned how good it is
Yes, it does.
to give.
Absolutely.
And that is a winning, that's a winning combination to having a truly good business, in my mind. And thank you for offering to, I didn't ask you to come.
No, you didn't.
You asked to
Absolutely.
come. And I thank you very much.
No, thank you for whole council. And again, feel free to stop in anytime, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
With that, I am ready to call for an adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Good evening. Transportation and Traffic Committee is canceled for this evening as both motions are pending public hearings next week. Thank you.
IT and infrastructure is canceled for tonight.
Reporting for zoning and land use this evening, I have one motion. Let's see here. This one I already voted, I voted out the special.
No, this, I don't think we did come out.
Yes, I voted that out two weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. I did vote that. So that's gonna be ready to go to full council next week. And so the one motion is from the docket of January 4th, 2022. I entertain a motion to accept the planning board's November 7th, 2023 proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance, specifically section 17-3.5, table of accessory use regulations, section 17-4.5 accessory structures, and section 17-11.2 definitions of the zoning ordinance with the following changes. Changing the accessory suites to accessory dwellings in all instances and deleting the first sentence of section 4C10 and replacing it with the following. An ADU shall maintain a separate entrance either directly from the outside or through the entry hall or corridor shared with the principal dwelling significant to meet the requirements of the state building code for safe egress.
Second.
Thank you. So those are the changes that we made a couple weeks ago, and now the next morning I was able to get it out to all the counselors, all the changes for that. I do support this and hope that everybody in the council would be open to this. I've mentioned kind of why I do think that this is so important for us to vote on this and approve it right now. Any other comments or questions? Councilor Conti?
So I sent you an email earlier this week regarding septic systems and accessory dwelling units. Did you happen to see that?
I didn't see that.
Oh.
To Virginia, to me?
No, not through Virginia to you, but directly from my email account to you.
Oh, I did not see that, no, okay.
So here's my concern. If you add the number of people into a dwelling, there should be a mechanism to examine the septic system to see if the septic system is capable of handling the new level of occupancy. And I don't know that happens automatically through the health department. I don't think it does. So I want to know, do we need to add to the ordinance that upon obtaining a permit for an accessory dwelling unit, that there must be a septic inspection, AKA Title V? Most units, I think, that go to accessory dwelling units are going to be on city sewer. But there was one case last month of a three-family home with an accessory apartment that wound up being two accessory apartments and actually became a became a three-family, went up for sale and sold at that unit. But I think the sale would have triggered a septic inspection. So, to protect the groundwater, I'm asking, should we add a Title V inspection upon the accessory dwelling unit permit?
Okay, thank you for that, President Joseph.
Thank you. This is more procedural. My concern is, where you're the vice chair, Council Holmes is the chair, send an email. We want to be careful. If you do see it,
Yes.
please don't respond, because we don't want to violate open meeting
Well, it
law.
wasn't about a vote.
But it's something that's in front of the council that could lead to a vote. We just want to play that safe.
Right.
What I would suggest is, if, when you get a moment tonight, tomorrow, send it through Virginia. Ask Virginia to send it out to all councilors, which then will guarantee you have the email, and then you can do the appropriate follow-up, and we'll just make sure we're above board. on
That's
that.
good, because I'd like to give this a little bit more thought, and I'd like to send to all the councilors a full explanation of the septic system with accessory dwelling units. Thank you.
Right, just one comment. Thank you so much. I would recommend, and this is just me personally, I think we're prepared to move this forward, and I would support moving it forward as it is. But then the council potentially looking at an amendment later, if it turns out that after looking at the septic issue and gathering some more research, that we determine, hey, that's an appropriate thing that we need to consider here. But I'm comfortable with supporting it as it's written, and I think it's something that we can continue to improve over time as we learn more.
Thank you, President Joseph.
Sorry, I'm that guy tonight. But the other thing, and I'm in agreement with Councilor Bennett, we need to be able to vote this out, because the public hearing was held and closed on October 4th. With zoning ordinances, we have 90 days from the public hearing to take action, or else we'll have to go through the process all over again on our public hearing. So we would have to have this done by January 4th, and the new council doesn't get sworn in until January 2nd. So, certainly food for thought, Council.
Thank you. And we did address that a couple weeks ago as well. What happened was, I had a few amendments, and unfortunately, the most updated motion was not prepared, and I'm sorry about that, and I thought that I had sent that to everybody, but I do have it formalized for everybody now. This is the correct motion, and I went over the timeline. Remember, there's been the 3 public hearings on this. There's been a lot of work. It's been before the planning board 3 times. I don't think that halting this at this point is the appropriate approach. So I do want to definitely vote this out, and I can certainly look into that question, because I think that there's a fair point, but at the same time, I'd like to move it forward. Any other comments?
I just want to say I wholeheartedly support it and would like to see this come out during this term. Yeah.
Okay.
Although I approve the
Council Blair
question.
and then Council Trax.
I think that's a very valued opinion about the septic systems. You get a single-family house, you get a permit to build, it's based on, the septic is based on the number of bedrooms, right? If you add 2 more bedrooms to it, not everybody builds above and beyond what's called for as far as a septic system is concerned. So if you're adding 3, 4, 5 people to it, that septic system could very well be overworked. I don't know if Bill looks into that when issuing a permit. Maybe he does. So we're talking on a moot point. But I think it's something you should look into before we take our final vote as a full council. But I see no reason for not bringing it out and looking that up. Maybe a phone call, clear it up. You talk to Bill.
Thank you. Thank you. Council Trax.
Yeah, and that was my exact comment as well, is initial septic designs are usually based on the number, they're rated for the number of bedrooms when they're initially approved. So my thought was exactly Councilor Blair's point, is checking with the building department. I believe that might be a contingency as part of the building approval. They would have to show that they'd be able to meet the capacity required if it was on septic and not city sewer. and water. So that would be something to look into, because that may already be handled internally in the processes of the building department. So it might be a non-issue, potentially.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes.
I just want to add that I don't think the building inspector has anything to do with it. I think it's all the health inspector that does the septic and system permit inspections. And that concludes my comments.
Okay.
So I just want to follow on that. That's true. But the building inspector, if somebody came and wanted to build an additional couple of bedrooms, then he would look at that too, whether for the septic system. So, it would come. People that are renting or giving, want someone to live in their home with them, already know they have 3 bedrooms. They probably already had 4 or 5 people in that house with 3 bedrooms, and they know what it takes. But if they're on city water, they're getting charged for it, so it really has no impetus as far as that goes.
Okay. Hearing no other comments, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. That's all the business this evening, and I'll call for an adjournment.
Second.
That's 7:32. All those in favor? Aye. 7:32. Thank you.
I'd like to call City Property and Claims Committee to order at 7:32, and I have several matters ahead of us. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to accept the generous donation of 7,000 linear feet of outdoor string lights and associated parts with an estimated value of $6,500 from TDI Partnership and Downtown Attleboro Business Associates to enhance the downtown area.
Second.
Thank you. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a very generous gift. Any other concerns or questions?
No, it's great.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to declare the following Veterans Office furniture as surplus and available for disposition. 1 desk chair, and it is in good condition.
Second.
Thank you. Again, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Any other questions or concerns? No? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to accept the donation of the following 5 hardcover books from the Rachel Brannigan Educational Foundation to the Hill Roberts Elementary School. Chester and Gus by Cammie McGovern with an estimated value of $19. Frankie and Amelia by Cammie McGovern with an estimated value of $22. One and Only Ruby by Catherine Applegate, signed by the author with an estimated value of $25. The Skull by John Klassen with an estimated value of $19.99. And Just Because by Matthew McConaughey, signed by the author with an estimated value of $29.99.
Second.
Thank you. Again, I think all of this is self-explanatory. Any other questions, concerns? No. Hearing none, that motion passes. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to accept the following list of furniture donated to the city from Hill Roberts PTO with an estimated value of $5,905, and the inventory list includes a conference table, which is oval, $800, 8 task chairs, $600, 1 conference table, boat-shaped, $800, 10 task chairs, $300, 1 4-H bookcase, $75, 1 end table, $200, 1 coat rack, $100, 2 double F pedestals, $100, 2 rectangular table, a training size, $200, 1 sectional sofa, 3 sections, $1,000, 1 end table, $150, 2 Keurigs, $150, 2 televisions, $400, 2 exercise balls, $30, 1 round occasional table, $100, 2 lounge chairs at $300, 5 whiteboards at $200, and 1 mobile whiteboard at $400.
Second.
Thank you. Again, that's a very generous donation to the city from Hill Roberts PTO, and we thank them for that. Any other questions or concerns regarding?
It's great.
Yeah, it is great. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passed. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to accept the generous donation to the Attleboro Police Department of gift cards totaling $240 from the Attleboro Moose Lodge.
Second.
Thank you. Again, another generous donation from the Attleboro Moose Lodge, and as always, appreciated. Any other questions, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. That motion passes. from that's a hold. And that's a hold. And that is all the business City Property and Claims Committee has this evening. I would like to call for an adjournment.
Second.
Thank you, and we are adjourned at 7:30. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we are adjourned at 7:36.
I call Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee to order at 7:36. I have one matter. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, entertain a motion to appoint Brenda Young as acting zoo director under the temporary 90-day appointment in accordance with Section 3.3B of the Attleboro Home Rule Charter.
Second.
Thank you, Council Waterman. Basically, the person they have hired will not be able to start until beginning of January, if everything goes well with them selling the house and transferring here from New Mexico. And hopefully that'll work, and we'll be all set there. Any questions, comments, concerns?
What happens in the meantime?
Brenda will be taking care of it until then, and hoping this person will be able to be here in January. If not, then we'll have to extend Brenda again, but this is all contingent on the person selling the house and moving here with their family and stuff. And I hear this is going to be a great fit and well worth the wait. President Delicio.
Thank you, Councilor Angelo. I just want to take a second and thank Brenda for the job that she's done, what she's had to step into, what she's had to lead the zoo through. Rainy weekends, a little bit of a concern financially. She's done a really admirable job, and I think it's important that we thank her for stepping in when the city needed her.
Thank you, President Delicio.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 3-0. I call for adjournment at 7:38. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned at 7:38.
I call ordinances, elections, and legislative matters to order at 7:38. Members of this committee include myself, Councilor Bennett, Councilor Holmes. Tonight we have two matters of business from the docket of December 5th, 2023. I entertain a motion to transfer $2,901.49 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1124100-558330 Citywide Copiers to purchase a copier for the elections office.
Second.
Thank you. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of November 21st, 2023, I entertain a motion to call for a public hearing on January 16, 2020. It's a typo, 2024. Regarding the amendment to section 12-3.3P of the revised ordinances and delete in its entirety and replace with the word reserved so as to avoid the need for the city to renumber other provisions and adjust associated internal cross-references.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. That concludes the business for ordinances, elections, and legislative matters. I move to adjourn at 7:40.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 7:40.
Thank you. I'd like to call Public Safety Committee to order at 7:41. I have two motions this evening which are related. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to transfer $150,000 from account 1210100-530172, Police Substance Abuse Disorder Prevention, to account 1124100-596650, citywide transfer to opioid stabilization fund, and to further transfer $150,000 from account 1124100-596650, citywide transfer to opioid stabilization fund to fund 8508-499600 opioid settlement fund, transfer from general fund to be used in accordance with the City of Attleboro opioid settlement plan.
Second.
This particular transfer and whatnot, is to get the money in the right place and under the right supervision, which will be explained, it's self-explanatory in the next motion. Any questions, comments? There is, I'll get them answered for you by next week. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to transfer $263,753 from account 1000-321350, General Fund Opioid Reserve Account, to Fund 8508 Opioid Settlement Fund. These funds will be subject to further appropriation by the municipal council in future years, consistent with the City of Attleboro's opioid settlement fund plan.
Second.
This brings it back to the council, so it's not, this money isn't floating around somewhere for different departments can tap and whatnot. It's gonna have a real vote when we start using this money from the people that it should be voting the use of. Yes,
Just a
Kelly?
question about the motion. Do we need to spell out the accounting line in full as it is on the previous motion? Because right now it looks like it's just shorthanded to Fund 8508.
That's a new fund, I believe.
Yes, but do we need to spell out the total fund number that is in the previous motion, 8508-499-600? Does the motion need to?
I couldn't answer that if I had to, so.
Okay.
You brought it to my attention. I'm sure Virginia caught it. If it has to be, we'll make a friendly amendment next
Okay.
week.
All right, thanks.
I think you're okay.
Huh?
I think we're okay, but we'll run it by
Yeah.
Virginia for sure.
Yeah.
But just looking at it, it's taking the money that we're transferring, and we're taking it from, I see what you're saying, Counselor. Yeah, let's take that, and if we have to amend it on the floor next Tuesday,
If
we
it
will.
has to be, we'll
But I think
amend
we
it.
should be okay with just the 8508, but we'll find out for sure.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Move to adjourn at 7:44.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
Counselor Conti.
I would like to call a special committee for tax payment review to order. Do you feel the earth rumble? It is 7:44. Sitting on this committee, Councilor Tavares, you are the vice chair of this committee, and Councilor Bennett. It's been a long time since we've met. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion as allowed by Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5K, to adopt the new senior tax abatement program rules, and I'd like to just summarize those rather than read the 7-page document that is attached.
Second.
Thank you. This program was established in 2009, and it was originally started with 120 participants, but it was later increased to 150. Interesting, next door in the city of Taunton, they cannot get 75 people to do this program. What a difference 4 miles of Norton makes between the city of Attleboro and the city of Norton, Taunton. The implementation period is changing from January 1st to December 1st to November 1st through October 1st. So they're just moving the calendar a little bit, and that's to accommodate the senior center that administers the program, but it's the assessors that actually deliver the abatement on the earnings. The FICA taxes are taken out of the paycheck so that the seniors working on it with an extra tax bill at the end of the year, and only one person per property can take advantage of this program. So if you got 2 people in the household, you have to be over 60 years old, only one of them can take advantage of this program. So I'm gonna have to either get Martha out there, or else I'm going to be working for the assessing department. This program has a cap of $1,000. But the governor just passed a law saying that if the local option is there, you can increase it to $2,000. But the mayor, very wisely, is putting this into, through the new rules and procedures at $1,000. Used to be $600. Increasing it to $1,000, see how it goes and see how it flows, and then maybe it'll be in front of a future council for $2,000. So I called the assessors department and I asked them for their overlay worksheet to see if there was enough money in the overlay to accommodate the new expenses of increasing $400 per participant, at times 150 participants. And the overlay account, what they've paid out in abatements and exemptions over a 5-year average, the last 5 years, was $509,246.51. The mayor put into the overlay account this year $872,611. So there's much more going in than can possibly come out. And that shows the good financial planning of the administration. I'm recommending that we adopt the new senior tax abatement program rules. And I think that there's enough money in the overlay account to be able to accommodate the new amount that we'll be paying out. I think that at any time, the council will be open to increasing it from 150 to more if the administration finds places for that many people to work. It's really considerable. They have to be paid a minimum wage, and so you can do the math. They have to be paid $15 an hour. They can only earn $1,000 off their taxes. I highly recommend its passage, and I'll entertain any comments, questions, or additions. Yes, Councilor Bennett.
Thank you. Do we know how many people are currently participating for this program year?
I believe it was 132 is what my memory is saying from,
Okay.
and that might not be completely accurate.
Thank you.
It's a popular program. The people that I've talked to that are in the program, I've talked to a person who works at the Pumpo Center and checks the people coming in and going out, and absolutely loves the job. It is, it gets the people out of the house, it gives them something to do, it gives them $1,000 off taxes, which can be, 20% of the typical house in Attleboro. So it's a significant program. Yes, Councilor Tavares.
Just to follow up to Councilor Bennett's question, historically, has the participation rate been that high normally?
Yes, that's why we had to increase it from 120 to 150. To my knowledge, none are being turned away. And I think that's really the whole goal of the program, is that give everybody who wants to work for the city an opportunity to do it and get $1,000 off their taxes. So if it did sell out, I would encourage the Council on Aging Director to come to us to ask us to improve it. And if there isn't enough money in the overlay, steal it from the stabilization account to be able to handle the emergency and then increase the overlay in the following year. Let's accommodate the people that want to do the program, is my opinion. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, the motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. That concludes the business that the committee has on, I have to bring before you this evening. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Thank you. Motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I declare the special committee on tax abatement review adjourned at 7:50. Thank you.
We have no new business for a special committee on classification compensation, but I do want to say they are working through taking care of this. Personnel in the administration is working on taking this, and I think all the employees are seeing paperwork being done on this. So as it progresses along, I will report more as we go, but it's well in order and it's happening, and I think this is going to be a good thing for the city in being able to hire employees.
Oh, she wrote.
It's a wrap.
Nice job tonight, everyone.